and welcome to my knitting podcast. This is episode number 5. If you're new here, then welcome. My name is Wilma and I'm a knitter based in Uppsala here in Sweden. I'm a 23-year-old knitter and also a student. I currently study for my Master of Science in Pharmacy, but during my free time I like to knit and talk about my knitting with you guys on this podcast. So in this podcast, I talk about all things knitting. I share what I have been working on recently, what I have finished, if I have any finished objects. I talk about the yarns, the patterns, and the process. So if that sounds interesting, then please keep on watching and maybe even considering giving this video a thumbs up or even subscribing to my channel. That would mean so much to me. And if you want to find me on Instagram, my name is KnitsByWilma, and over there I try to post more regularly and also give you some insight into my regular life. So yeah, feel free to check that out if you would like. So yes, in this episode I have 2 finished objects and also 4 works in progress to talk about. I haven't been able to knit as much as I normally do this last month, and that's because I have had a busy time in school. I've had a big exam in neuropharmacology, and that took some time to prepare for and study for. And when I finally had time to sit down and knit, I prioritized finishing and knitting on a gift knit that I'm going to give to my mother this Christmas, or actually on her birthday that's coming up. So I hope you're cozy, that you are enjoying the Christmas spirit, maybe knitting on some Christmas gifts or something for yourself. And yeah, I hope you will enjoy this episode. And yeah, let's jump in. So as per usual, I will start off by talking about what I'm wearing. And today I'm wearing a knitted piece, and it's the Cardigan number 9 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I have already showed and talked about this cardigan in a previous episode. I think it was my first knitting podcast episode. So feel free to check that out if you want to see me talk about it in some more depth. But this is a beautiful saddle shoulder cardigan with this very interesting saddle shoulder construction, and the recommended gauge is a 16 stitch gauge, and I knit size number 2. And yeah, the recommended needle size I think was a 5mm needle. This is a cardigan that I really enjoy. I've used it several times since finishing it in August, I believe. I just love how it fits and all the details. I really like this construction and also the color details. I didn't use the recommended yarn. Instead, I knitted in Rauma Fivel in the color 4078. And I used about 8 skeins, I believe. Both the yarn and also the cardigan have become new favorites of mine. I really enjoy how this yarn feels against my skin. It has a very lofty and fluffy texture. It has a bit toothiness and a bit of that, rustic feel, but it's still so nice to wear next to skin. So I really recommend this pattern and also this yarn, especially for this pattern. Definitely one of my most worn hand knitted pieces and a new favorite in the wardrobe. So that's that, the cardigan number 9 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. Okay, so let's go over to my finished objects. And the first finished object is a cardigan that I've knitted as a birthday gift for my mom. And it's the Copenhagen cardigan by PetiteKnit. This is a simple and elegant top-down raglan cardigan. It's knit on a a 21 stitch gauge and 28 row gauge. And I have knit mine in a slightly tighter gauge. In the original pattern, the cardigan features some pockets along the front of the cardigan, 2 pockets. However, I decided to not include those since my mom didn't want any pockets on her cardigan. I also decided to knit fewer buttonholes and with a larger gap in between. So as you can see, I only knit 3 buttonholes and left the bottom like half, maybe a bit more, open like this. My mom showed me a picture of a cardigan that she really liked from a website, and asked if I could try to knit this cardigan to almost look like that one. And she really liked how that cardigan only had the 3 buttons at the top like this. As I already mentioned, I knit this in a slightly tighter gauge than what the pattern recommends. So instead of a 21 stitch gauge, I got a 22.5 stitches per 10 centimeters, and on the recommended needles, which is a 4mm needle. So therefore I decided to size up and knit a large to hopefully fit a size small/medium. And I have actually not measured the cardigan to see which size I got. However, I compared the measurements to my mom's measurement and also compared how it fit on me, and I believe that the size is perfect and spot on what I wanted. However, my mom hasn't tried it on since I finished it and blocked it. So yeah, we will see. I really like how it looks. I'm very jealous of my mom, but she deserves it. She's a very knit-worthy person, and I'm very excited to get to gift this to her. So the yarn that I used was Filcolana Arwetta in the color 950, held together with, let's see, Gepard Garn Cashmere Lace in the color 520, also called light gray. And I'm very pleased with how it turned out and how it feels. I think it will be perfect for my mom. She asked for a soft yarn combination since she is a bit more sensitive to scratchy wool. And this was my first time trying out any yarn from Gepard Garn, and I really enjoyed it. This is a beautiful yarn, a lace weight cashmere, 100% cashmere. And if you have watched any of my other podcast episodes, then you are already familiar with the Filcolana Arwetta. This is one of my favorite yarns. I use it so much for several different projects. It's a sock yarn. I think it's a superwash. Yeah, superwash merino, 80% merino and 20% nylon. So yeah, I really enjoyed this combination for this cardigan. And as I said, it created a bit tighter gauge than what the pattern recommends. So keep that in mind if you want to knit this in the same yarn. This has been a quite enjoyable project, very mindless since it's just stockinette back and forth. So yeah, you knit it flat, so you have to purl a bit. But if you don't mind that, then I really recommend this pattern. It's a very very elegant and timeless piece, I believe, that will go with a lot of different outfits. So yeah, there you have it. The Copenhagen cardigan by PetiteKnit. Okay, so the next finished object is a small accessory that I recently finished for myself, and it's the Scarlett headband, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's a pattern by the designer called Ella Balance. It is knit in a DK weight yarn, and the recommended gauge is a 21 stitch gauge and 28 row gauge, and it's knit on 4mm needles. It's a very basic but elegant and classic headband. It's a very easy, quick and simple project. It's very mindless and perfect if you want a project that's just knit in the round. You just cast on, I think, 50 stitches and join it in the round, and then you knit a 50 centimeter long stockinette tube that you then in the end hand sew this knot in the front, and there were instructions in the pattern on how to create this little knot. So I actually casted on this project when my partner and I went to the cinema to see a movie, and I wanted something very mindless and easy. And yeah, it was a perfect movie knit, and I can really recommend it. I really like headbands and wear them a lot since I like to wear my hair up. Then a headband is perfect. And I also wanted a headband to match my höstflättevotter that I knitted and showed in a previous episode. And I have them here. So I knit this headband in the same yarn combination so I can wear them together. And I just think they look so cute together. And the yarn that I used for both the headband and the mittens is Knitting for Olive Merino in the color cream, and I held it together with Isager Silk Mohair in the color 6. A lovely yarn combination that I really recommend for winter accessories. It creates a very soft, elegant looking fabric, and also a warm fabric that will keep you warm now during these cold winter days. So there you have it, the Scarlett headband, a perfect, quick and easy project if you want to use up some leftover yarns, or maybe as a Christmas gift for someone this year, or for yourself as a Christmas gift for yourself. As I said, it was free on Ravelry, so definitely check it out. Okay, so that was all my finished objects, and now I'm going to show you my first work in progress, and that is the Neck Warmer 35 by Thea Vesterby, and it's, as you can see, this beautiful cabled neck warmer. Let me just put away these yarn ends and the needles so you can see it better. There you have it. So yeah, it's this neck warmer that comes in a one size, and it's knit in a DK weight yarn, and the recommended gauge is a 20 stitch gauge and 28 row gauge on 5mm needles. And as you can see, it features this very interesting and beautiful cabled design on the front and also on the back. And right now I'm working on the collar, or it will be a long ribbed turtleneck in 1x1 ribbing. I'm just so amazed by this beautiful cabled pattern. I've never seen anything quite like this before, and when I saw it on Ravelry, I had never heard about the designer before or seen the pattern before, but when I saw it, I just fell in love immediately and just had to have this. I can picture myself wearing this underneath one of my coats that has this quite large opening in the front, So this will be perfect to wear underneath instead of a bulky sweater or a scarf. And I just can't wait to have it finished. I think it's so beautiful and so unique and nothing like I've seen before. And for the yarn, it's recommended to knit this in a fingering weight yarn held together with a lace weight mohair, so a DK weight gauge. I, however, decided to not include the mohair and instead use a lovely yarn that was sent to me from a lovely and new to me yarn brand called Nakyang yarn. And I've talked about them in a previous episode as well. It's a South Korean yarn brand that is looking to expand their market in Europe. They reached out to me and asked if I would like to try out some of their yarns, which I happily agreed to. And this was one of the yarn bases that they sent me and that I got very impressed by. And it's this yarn base called Bliss. And there you have the yarn brand logo. And this is a very soft yarn, and it contains polyester, nylon, wool, and cashmere. And this is color 344, and it's this, I don't know if you can see, lovely light brown color that I really like. So yeah, so far I'm very impressed with both the yarn brand and also the yarn. I will talk about another yarn base from the same company later in this episode, because I have started another project with one of their other yarn bases that I also really enjoy. They have many different yarn bases and also many different colors to choose from. So I will definitely recommend you to check their website out. Thank you so much to Nakyang Yarn for gifting me all these lovely yarns and for giving me the opportunity to try them out. So yeah, a perfect yarn for this type of project according to me. And yeah, I just can't wait to have this finished and to get to wear this during this cold season. Yeah, a lovely, lovely pattern that I really recommend you to check out and try for yourself. Okay, so the second work in progress that you probably already have seen on my channel before is the beautiful Söljejakke. Here you have it. Söljejakke by the designer called Lil Frost. And it's this lovely wrapped cardigan that is worked in the round from the bottom up. That will be staked in the end. I'm gonna try to show you without dropping any stitches. So as you can see, it has this cabled panel along the bottom edge of the cardigan and also along the entire back of the cardigan. So it has this panel that travels up along the entire backside as well as along the entire sleeve. So yeah, this is a quite time-consuming project that I've had on the needles for quite some time now. The recommended gauge is a 24 stitch gauge and a 30 row gauge, and it's knit on 3mm needles. And I'm knitting size 1, so the smallest size. Yeah, and as you can see, I have since my last podcast joined these sleeves in the round and started decreasing to create these raglan decreases. As I mentioned, you knit this cardigan from the bottom up, so you cast on at the bottom edge, and then you work the body from bottom up. And you also knit the sleeves from the bottom up, and you knit them separately, and then you connect them together with the body in the round, and start with the raglan decreases. And then when that's finished, you will cut open, so you will steek the front opening of the cardigan, and then you will pick up these stitches that I have put on hold here and continue one cable on each side of the opening, and continue it up along the entire front opening. And then you will also knit a cabled a long tie that you will attach and have as the tie feature of the cardigan. And in my last episode, I asked if you would be interested in me showing you how I steek my cardigan, and show you the entire process. And a lot of you was interested and would like me to share that. So I will try my best and do that. So when it's time to steek the cardigan, I will make sure to film it for you guys. So maybe I can share it in my next episode. If you haven't steeked before, then I know that it can be an intimidating technique and process that a lot of people get scared by. I have done it once before when I knit my Telemark cardigan, and it was so much easier and not that dramatic as I thought it would be. So I actually really enjoyed the process. So I believe that if you've done it once before, then your experience and thoughts about steeking will change. So hopefully me sharing my steeking process with you can be helpful and maybe motivate you to try out steeking for yourself. So for the yarn that I'm using, this is a yarn called Vilje, and it's from the brand called Hillesvåg, and it's this 100% Norwegian lamb's wool, and it's this rustic but still quite soft fingering weight wool. And I really enjoy this yarn. I've talked about it in previous episodes. It has definitely become a new favorite of mine. I'm especially impressed by how much it softens and blooms when you block it. I haven't wet blocked this cardigan yet, but I have steam blocked it, and that made this cardigan so much softer than it was before. In my previous episode, I also said that I think this is a perfect yarn to try out if you want to dip your toes into trying out more rustic yarns, and that this is a perfect yarn if you want the quality of a rustic yarn but still have a yarn that's something that's easy to wear next to skin. Oh, I almost forgot. This is in the color 449, also called Marled Light Beige. And I would say it's more like a light gray almost than a beige, but I don't know. I really like it. Yeah, that's the yarn, and that's the sörjejakke. I believe I've said everything I wanted to say. I'm so excited that I'm reaching the end of this project. It has been a joy to knit, but it's quite time-consuming one, and I'm excited to start steeking the cardigan and sharing that with you. So yeah, there you have it, the sörjejakke. I think I will have to start talking a bit less if I want to finish before the sun sets. Okay, so this is the third work in progress, I believe, yeah, that I want to share, and it's the Olive Turtleneck by Pernille Larsen, and this is a beautiful all-over lace top-down raglan sweater. it features this 2x2 ribbed turtleneck. I, however, decided to shorten it a bit since I didn't want it to be as long as the pattern calls for. So this is an Aran weight sweater knit on 6mm needles, and the recommended gauge is a 16 stitch gauge and 22 row gauge. That is, however, the gauge for the size that I'm knitting, and I'm knitting size extra small, I believe. So the gauge is different according to what size you knit. I think there are two different gauges, or do you say gauge? Gauges? Some of you might be able to tell that I haven't knit so much on this since my last episode, and that's just because I have prioritized other projects. However, I'm very excited about this sweater and really want to have it finished soon. I think it's so gorgeous, and I just love this lace pattern, and I think this light blue really suits this beautiful pattern. So onto the yarn that I'm using. This is also a gifted yarn from a Swedish yarn brand called Svarta Fåret. They recently came out with this new yarn base called Merino, and this is a 100% merino wool, and I believe that this is a worsted or an Aran weight yarn. I'm not sure, but a 50 gram skein is about 100 meters. So if you know if that's a worsted or an Aran weight yarn, then please let me know. That would be interesting to know. So yeah, this is in the color 221312, and I also believe it's called like Ice Queen or something like that on the website. A lovely yarn, and it's very soft. So far I'm very impressed by it, and I really like the yarn. Yeah, and I believe that's everything I had to say about this beautiful olive turtleneck by Pernille Larsen. Okay, so on to the last work in progress and the last project that I will talk about today. Hopefully you can still see me okay. The sun is starting to set, so I'm gonna hurry up. I recently casted this on as a celebration after finishing my big exam, and it's a sweater that I have had in my knitting queue for quite some time now. So enough teasing. Here's the project, and this is the Eris sweater by the designer called KnitWar, and isn't it so beautiful? Oh, I just love it. And it's this oversized cabled Aran weight sweater, and this is constructed from sleeve to sleeve. So as you can see, you cast on and start off by knitting one sleeve from the bottom up, and then you will continue knitting the body, and I believe you knit it flat, and you will later seam together the side seams by hand, and then you will continue with the other sleeve. So a very interesting construction, and a construction that's new to me. I have never knit a sweater in that way before, so that will be very interesting to try out. And I just love how this sweater looks. It's so voluminous and beautiful with lots of different beautiful cables. And the recommended gauge is a 16 stitch gauge and 20 row gauge, and you knit it on 6mm needles. Yeah, and I'm knitting size 1. I do, however, want to point out that this sweater only comes in 3 sizes, so it's not size inclusive at all. However, since it is so oversized, some can get away with knitting one of the smaller sizes and still get a sweater that fits you, but maybe not with as much positive ease as the pattern recommends. So that's a bummer that it's not that size inclusive. So that's that. But yeah, however, it's a beautiful sweater, and I'm knitting this in a super lovely soft wool yarn from the same brand that I talked about earlier, the brand called Nakyang yarn. So this yarn was also gifted to me, and here you have it. So this yarn base is called I Am Wool 4, and this is 100% wool, merino wool, and it's very, very soft. And this is in the color 101. Yeah, this was definitely one of my favorite of all the yarns that Nakyang sent me. So I really wanted to knit this sweater in this beautiful yarn. This sweater will be very cozy and nice for the winter. So yeah, I believe that's everything I have to say about this project. I'm very excited about it and can't wait to have this one finished as well. I have always adored this design. I think it's so unique and so beautiful. So yeah, that's the Iris sweater by A-Unit. So yeah, that was everything I had to talk about and share with you in this episode. I really, really appreciate you being here and for continuing supporting me and watching my videos. It means so much to me. I really hope that you are doing well and that you will have a wonderful Christmas holiday together with your loved ones, and hopefully find some time for yourself to relax and maybe knit something nice for yourself. And I wish you a Merry Christmas, and thank you so much for watching and for supporting me. I hope to see you in my next episode. Until then, take care, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening. Bye!